It's a hot afternoon. Davia Josusumpo is taking a nap under a coconut tree on the beach of the Adan estuary in the Greater Accra region. The indigents in this area call it keji, to wit, on top of the sand. Davi has advanced in age, though she's not sure how old she is. Age has caught up with the mother of 9, with 3 surviving, 1 an invalid, and 2 hustling far away from home. To make life bearable for extremely poor and vulnerable households, the government of Ghana introduced in 2008 the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty (LEAP). The social protection program is a cash transfer-based one. The eligible members are orphaned and vulnerable children, persons with severe disability without any productive capacity, and elderly persons 65 years and above like Davi Ajo. Though Davi Ajo has been receiving stipends, she doesn't know its name. She receives between $11 to $12 equivalent of the Citi every 2 months. However, the disbursal could delay for up to 6 months.
One point no change for more minami. More bune economy, no way I could not make. I have your horse and ocean. I demand the clash you could have.
Though small, the stipend helps keep body and soul together, and she wants government to disburse on time and increase it.
I'm your path with Dora Kavala Yashi. Not so boring. I can't remember with that old boy who can't make me Dutch. I also told me a gamma subo. Gamma than a Kurukumeli dog. Thank you. No. I know that banning not the Reginald. I don't know Tonami Kakaba.
Davia Joe took me to see her friend, Afokoku. Just like his friend, Fokoku hasn't received LEAP stipends in months. As vulnerable people, Afokoku says they have no right to demand for the stipend, but to remain hopeful for the good graces of the state.
By force water Kachoganao, force Choganova, Alaklalo. Near you, Oyomiko, Nina.
Fokoku's neighbor is Danhore Kwawaye, a visually impaired widow. She lives in a shed made of coconut fronds and a roof, one that can easily be blown away by mild winds. How does she survive the rains?
I chose the home and come on ye. Chino Pukumo home. Chino Pumo and I come on and say ye. The home, no one of my mamma, no one of my mamma by any man who no one knowing for the chance that can come over. Alaka kumone, 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 kumone. Mtu malaka kuvu. Mtu no malaka. Yankuama no pomo. Yakama no pomo. Minya kongo ma.
Dahore doesn't remember receiving any stipends under the LEAP program.
Malaka mako kana kana. Mako kana kana.
Uma do maraka wa ko gaveno.
Malaka mako kana.
Have an extreme close up.
Malaka mako kana kana musi alaka kumalia. Malaka mako kana mo ho malaka shi. Manda konjo ta laka kumalia yankuana laka.
Nke wo mochi ano.
Ngochia. Me ngochi haya. Oh, yambla ma ho. Ya pom yam pom ho. Afi muhwanya wo.
Okay.
Her wish is to live in a more secure home before she dies.
Anya honan ta hona. Mo hon tu hon. Mo mle shala ko mo mle ye shu ka pa bi fa. Mo mo wanya. Mo na kana mo na tu bi ana ka.
These beneficiaries do not feel entitled to the stipends, but Head of Communications for LEAP, Colson Akambasiam, says it is a right they are entitled to.
It's not a favor, it is a right. And it's a right because every citizen, every government has a contract with its people, and it's the duty of government to help those who cannot help themselves, the basis for which the social protection is being born, and there's a policy governing that's the end. That gave birth to the LEAP program, and we have been in existence for a while. It's a duty because these are people who are selected based on targeting, and the selection is done based on poverty and vulnerability.
He explains considerations based on which grants are paid starting from 64 Ghana cedis or $5 for 2 months.
And the grant is paid based on the number of these vulnerable people in a household. So if one person is in a household, they are paid 64 Ghana cedis bi-monthly. If there are 2, 76 bi-monthly. If there are 3, 88 bi-monthly. And if there are 4 and above, they are equally paid 106. And anytime there are delays in the payment, we put these monies together. And every time we pay, we call it a cycle. So we can put 2 cycles together if there are delays, and we make sure we pay the arrears owed them for a particular cycle.
The delays in the release of the LEAP stipends, as well as its insufficiency, were captured in the 2021 Citizens Assessment of Social Protection Delivery in Ghana, CSO's Social Protection Report, otherwise referred to as the Mirror Report. According to the Mirror Report, available statistics show that Ghana's spending on social protection as a percentage of GDP is less than 1%. In 2019, it was 0.6%, which is below the sub-Saharan African average of 2.2% and that of most middle-income countries between 6.7% to 8.7%. However, there has been an increase in Ghana's social protection budgetary allocations and releases over time. Total spending on social protection in Ghana nearly doubled in nominal terms between the period 2015 and 2018. Despite this development, the Mirror Report observes that the budget allocation to the LEAP program has seen some constant drop over the past 4 years, from 2019 to 2022. Over 200 million Ghana cedis was allocated in 2020, and this amount was reduced to some 197 million in 2021. The 2022 budget shows an allocation of some 197 million Ghana cedis, which is just a 462 Ghana cedi increase. In percentages, this is 0.0002% of the 2021 allocation. This, the report argues, is an insignificant increase and inadequate considering recent challenges confronting the LEAP program. To worsen the situation, the Mirror Report observes the LEAP program only receives a fraction of the allocation. For example, only 35% of the allocation was received in 2020, while 44% of the allocation was received in 2021. When the issues were put to officials of LEAP, this is what they had to say.
civil society can do advocacy around the grant amount and how regular we can be. But we need funding. Funding is the key. If you get regular funding from government and development partners to make sure that we're able to be more regular and consistent, it improves the impact of the program. And the other one is advocacy around the essence and value, because some Ghanaians don't really understand why we should be giving cash grant to people. But if people get the understanding that these are people who, but for the LEAP program, could not have survived the next day, at least we will be sure that there will be more allocations and support for the program across the country. The delay, I think we've not experienced this for a long time, but because of the recent economic situation in the country, as we all know, COVID and Russia-Ukraine war has affected the economic situation in every country, not only Ghana. And that is what currently is. But government is still committed, though even in these trying times, we currently don't owe any beneficiary in areas. We have cleared that, especially for last year.
There are many voiceless elderly women and men like Danwore Ekwawoye who are only waiting for the final day to cross over to the yonder. But every delay in the disbursal of their LEAP stipends leaves them in a very, very vulnerable situation, and they are calling on all agencies responsible to fast-track the disbursal of their stipends. And then also, it becomes imperative for Parliament to pass the Social Protection Bill to commit the government to the welfare of the nation's elderly. Because after all, a nation that fails to take care of its elderly is not worth dying for. For Citi News, I am Caleb Kuda.